Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Happy Monday or happy whatever day it may be when you're watching this. Welcome to Practical Self Healing for your soul, heart, mind, and body. And this is Alan Chuck. I'm a master teacher and healer serving wonderful beings like you from all over the world from the Master Sha Tao Center in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And I am honored to be your self-healing expert for this series of programs. So healing takes, especially self-healing, but any kind of healing takes qualities. It takes some motivation, first of all, but it also takes, discipline, persistence, and some faith, some trust, some belief, some confidence that you can heal, you can self-heal, you can be healed. Okay? Because I believe it is possible for just about anyone with anything, any kind of condition, to make great progress by self-healing, and I believe it is quite possible with many of the most powerful healers on the planet that just about anything can be healed in with the right approaches, the right services, the right blessings, and more. But sometimes we lack a little motivation. Sometimes we lack all of these qualities. So I'm going to talk today about motivation. That's the title I put on today's program, Motivation for Your Healing Journey. And this was inspired by a couple of things. One is that the Olympics are on, the Summer Olympics are happening. The 2020 Olympics are happening now in July 2021 in Tokyo. We all know the reason why it was delayed, of course. But think about these elite athletes. The top 1, 2, 3 handful of athletes in the world. What kind of qualities do they have to reach where they have reached, to attain the level of success that they have attained? I have not come close to that level of success in anything that I've done or attempted or learned or tried in my life. But I do like to play. I do like to play sports. I think of it as play, and I'm just a mediocre athlete. I never really got involved in any intense competitions in my athletic life, but I understand that sometimes you lose motivation in trying to improve, for example. So you may know that my main sport, really the only sport that I indulge in, that I play now, is tennis. I took up tennis when I was in my late 20s as an adult, and I just love the sport, and I love to play it to this day. But, with the right healing, with the right practices, with the motivation to sustain them, great transformation can be achieved. I'm in my 70s, and I recently played a game of doubles with 3 other men. And the other 3 men were in their 30s and 40s. And we had a little conversation, and it came around to our ages, and they were shocked by my age. The oldest other player was like 45 years old, and he thought I was younger than him. Again, I'm not a great athlete by any means, but if I can retain, some part of my youthful vitality, my youthful speed, quickness, reaction time, hand-eye coordination, and more, then I can fool people into thinking that I'm actually much younger than I actually am. And loving tennis so much, I also enjoy it as a spectator. I follow still the top players, men and women, the major tennis tournaments around the world. But I always wanted to improve. It's not really very feasible because it takes dedicated practice, right? It's one thing all of these elite athletes have in common. They practice for hours and hours and hours a day. They hone their bodies, they hone their skills for hours and hours and hours a day, every day. So, what is their motivation to do that? How can they sustain that? Maybe they want to be the best, okay? They want to win that gold medal. Of course, if you have that possibility, that would be a great, great motivation. And my motivation is I was never going to win a medal in tennis or a championship in tennis, but I figured I did have some competitive motivation. I figured, well, if I could keep improving a little by little every year, again, I started in my late 20s. If I could just keep improving a little by little every year, then maybe by the time I'm 90, I'd be pretty good. And, they actually have tennis competitions for people in their 90s and over. So I'm still holding on to that dream, that hope, and maybe it can happen. But I come to realize that, there's always going to be somebody better. If competition, if winning, quote unquote, is your goal, there's always going to be somebody better, unless you're that one gold medalist in the Olympics. And if you're on a team, I used to play basketball. That was my major sport when I was younger. Played that into my 40s, and actually played on a city team, a city league, when I was in my 40s. And again, I was the oldest person on the court. But sometimes you have good teammates, sometimes you don't have the best teammates, and all these things are not necessarily in your control, right? That whether you have a good team or a not so good team, it's not necessarily in your control, and there's always going to be a better team that will defeat you. So what finally I realized, and what keeps me motivated, is that my major competition is myself. Okay? In fact, my only true competition is myself. It's a question of, what do you want to be able to say about yourself, think about yourself, or see about yourself when you look in the mirror? And this is not something new, Millions of people have heard this, have said this, but I just want to reinforce this, that all we can really do is do our best, right? And if we are in some kind of competition or comparison, that's not in our control. That depends on those we're being compared to, or things like that, right? It's not really in our control. But at the end of the day, can you look in the mirror and say, yes, I did my best, and I let go of the results. This was the best result that I could achieve on this day. So when you're healing, when you're self-healing, don't you want to say that also? I'm going to post here something that Master Sha has taught to his advanced spiritual students that applies to the spiritual journey. And I realize that much of this applies to your healing journey as well, your self-healing journey as well. So I'm posting this right now. You can read it. So on the spiritual journey, Master Sha has taught that there are 6 qualities that are very important. And I don't see them. Where did they go? Okay, let me try again. Okay. 6 qualities that are very important. and they are. Gee, that's interesting. It just kind of I post it and it disappears. I hope you can see it, but if not, one is in Chinese Xin, which means belief. Okay. Another one is Yuan, which means vow. And forgive me because I know my Chinese is not not good. Okay, it's not good. But one is I'll just say it in English: belief, a vow, a spiritual vow, action, discipline, stillness, and wisdom. And I think most of these apply to your healing journey. Thank you for letting me know that it's posted, Dee. Most of these apply to your healing journey. I think the only one that doesn't really apply is a vow, a spiritual vow. But you need belief. You need to have, believe that you can heal. Believe that you can self-heal. Believe that you can be healed. That makes a big difference. Your attitude, your belief, your faith, your trust does make a big difference, because in our soul healing that we teach, we call on many souls to help us. We call on heaven, whatever you believe in. And if you give them your belief, your trust, they will reward you for that. They will pay more attention to you. The same thing for a vow. For a spiritual vow, it's the same purpose. You call your attention. Now, you don't need to make a spiritual vow for your healing, for your self-healing, but you do need to make a commitment, make a commitment to yourself that you're going to do your self-healing work. You're going to receive whatever healing you can receive, okay? Then most important, of course, is action, the number 3 thing that I posted. Action is, if you don't act, if you don't do your practices, if you don't join these sessions and many other sessions that are offered, Master Sha's Tao, calligraphy, light, massage, and more, if you don't take those simple actions, then what are you going to, how can you expect to accomplish anything, right? And I'm not going to get any better in tennis by the time I'm 90 unless I keep playing tennis, right? At least that'll give me some possibility. So next is discipline. Of course, we have to have discipline to do the action, to do it regularly. We have to have persistence. It's the same for athletes, right? I'm sure there are days they have good days and bad days, like all of us. But the elite athletes, they push through their bad days. They have the same thoughts I'm sure that you and I would have. They think, I'm just too tired today. The weather is not too nice today. I've got a little nagging crick in my knees or something today. I just can't go through my training schedule today. But I think the elite athletes, they do it, right? They push through all those things, okay? So you have to have the discipline to do it, the persistence. And that is part of your vow, your commitment to yourself, to your own healing process. Stillness, I think that applies also, because to do your healing, your self-healing, or to receive any healing, you have to be relaxed, okay? So let me transform stillness, spiritual stillness, to relaxation. You have to be relaxed to benefit the most from your healing practices, your healing blessings. You have to, you can't be anxious or worried or tense or fearful or anything. And I can tell you that everything I teach you, everything Master Sha and his teachers and healers teach you and can do for you, has none of it has any negative effects. Okay, we just work with positive frequency, vibration, the highest love, the highest light, and more. So there's no reason to have any concerns about the kind of healing and blessings and teachings that we offer. And then finally, last is Hui, wisdom. Okay, wisdom. You have to have the knowledge, and I'm trying to help impart some of the knowledge, some of the wisdom, some of the most important principles of self-healing for for you in these series of programs. So, so as I think about this, as I reflect on these teachings of Master Sha, and as I think about the Olympics, I think about elite athletes, I think about my own healing journey, my own athletic journey, which is no big thing, but I love it. I still love to play, and it is play for me. I really enjoy it. Um, this is what occurred to me to share today. Motivation. It all comes into motivation, and ultimately, who are you responsible for? Who do you answer to in the end? Only yourself. Okay? And of course, you answer to God, to Tao Source, if you believe in them, and to heaven. But on the physical plane, you only answer to yourself. You're only responsible for yourself. You're only accountable to yourself. So let that help you develop the motivation that you need to be committed, sustain your healing practices, your healing process, to act, to use the appropriate wisdom, and to be relaxed, and to be disciplined, and more. Okay? So at the end of the day, you want to be able to say, and not everyone and everything can be healed, not quickly. My transformation has been very gradual, but it's taken place over 21 years, to the point where people say I look younger than I did 15 years ago, to the point where my fellow tennis players, 45-year-old, says, I'm shocked, Alan. I thought you were younger than I was, okay, when I'm like almost 30 years older than he is. So it's a process. I didn't get to where I am overnight. It's been a 21-year process, and I didn't have much physically to heal, but I had a lot emotionally and mentally to heal. And it's ongoing. I still need to heal everything, physical, emotional, mental. I'm not there yet. If I was there, I would be a total light being. You would just see me as a huge, huge light being of light on this program, okay? I'm certainly not there. But at the end of the day, can you tell yourself, I've done what I could today. I have done my practices today. I've done my work today. I can look in the mirror and say, I'm proud of myself today. Alan, you did a good job today. And if the results are there, great. I'm happy. If the results haven't appeared yet, great. I just did what I could do, and the results, whatever the results are supposed to be, the results will come. Okay? And when you do this with soul healing, all the outer souls you invoke with soul power, with say hello, heaven, divine, Tao Source, spiritual fathers and mothers, saints, Buddhas, angels, guides, Mother Earth, the universe, they will be happy for you. They will smile upon you. They will support your healing process, your healing requests more. Okay, so that is what I wanted to share today. Let me offer you a blessing for your motivation to stick to it, your discipline, your wisdom, your knowledge, your stillness, your relaxation, your commitment, your vow, your commitment to yourself to do your self-healing work. Tien, Ren, Gaban. Heaven, human being, each must do half, 50%. When you do your 50%, your half, heaven will support you stronger. When you don't do, they will give you their full 50%. When you don't do your 50%, your half, heaven will not give you a full 50%. If you only do 30%, they'll give you maybe 30%. Okay? That's the balance. All right. So let me give you a blessing to close with my Tao song. Well, let me give you a soul operation instead today. All right? Soul operation for motivation and more for your healing and self-healing journey. To do the work, okay? Kimberly, motivation for you, everybody. Cut through the blockages. Clear the negative. Shen Qi Jing. Transform your negative thinking, your negative emotions, feelings about doing your healing work, your self-healing practices. Transform the physical blockages. Energy. You don't feel you have the energy to do it. Tell you, as a master teacher, Francisco, Cher, Alexia, Venier, all the ones around the world, we have certain tasks that Master Sha has given us. And they take time to do. Sometimes I don't get to them until very late in the day. And some of these tasks take an hour. I have to do an hour at the end of a long day of certain things. And I'm very tired. But for this task I'm thinking of, I haven't missed one at all. Okay, so I hope I can sustain that same motivation and more. I hope you can have that same motivation and even better than me. You will have great success if you do that. So the soul operation ends. Thank you everybody for joining me. I hope this helps. Let me know what you think. I will read all your comments later. And I will say how. Thank you to each and every one of you, to all the souls that have blessed us, been with us. And we say Gong Sung, which means respectfully return them to their abode in heaven and more. Gong Sung, Gong Sung, Gong Sung. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye. Have a beautiful, motivated day, okay? Have a great, motivated day. Do your job, and success results will come. They might not come right away, but don't give up, okay? Don't drop the ball, okay? You don't want to do that, okay? You won't be happy if you do that. Bye-bye, everyone. Love you all.